What's such a boy for another reaction? In today's video, we have the streamer and the OF Mafia by Trap University. This nigga that made about 5 videos on Clavicular. He hate this nigga. Man, I hope he hope. That boy ass hate Clavicular.
Is Clavicular signing girls to 360 OF contracts? Maybe, but also, is that a member of the Israeli Mafia in his stream? Is this a kick streamer that blew up really fast on stream with an Israeli Mafia member that just so happens to be the brother of another wanted Mafia affiliate that I covered in a previous video? Uh-oh. Hopefully, this isn't something I wasn't supposed to notice, because I'm scared now. But first, what do Andrew Tate, Jack Doherty, and Clavicular have in common? Well,
I don't think Clavicular was an industry playing game. He just don't know. Clavicular blew up from Cuff'em and Cheezer. They brought him on his stream first, but he's been popping on TikTok. I'm saying I ain't hear about the nigga. I ain't never seen the nigga on TikTok, but he been had like hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok.
How do I say this without getting demonetized? Well, I'll just let the man, the myth, the legend himself, Varys, aka the ASU frat leader, tell you what I'm trying to say.
So you vulnerable girls like Scarlett, Mia, they're like, what is this stuff? What's OnlyFans? Like, what's so cool about it? Like, what?
This next part that I'm about to say also happened allegedly. So 3 days ago, allegedly, I get a phone call from Scarlett. She's like bawling her eyes out. I don't really know what to do. I signed an OF contract, allegedly.
Yeah, why you got your hair like that, gang? He got his hair like the nigga from Final Fantasy.
With Daddy Clav, 70-30. He gives me a free house, and like I feel so bad. I don't know what to do. Like I want to go home.
But Clav is allegedly just doing something that Andrew Tate pioneered, that Jack Doherty did better because he didn't end up with criminal charges.
It makes a lot of money.
Did he sell you a dream?
Be sad though.
He sold you a dream?
Yeah, he did.
What did he say?
Crazy. Like I was gonna be a multi-millionaire, and we're not there yet.
Like how much percent is taken from you?
A huge amount.
How much is it?
When I started, 80%.
You took 80%.
Why she talking like that?
And now, Clavicular has allegedly entered this world. Like, damn, imagine getting signed to a 360 OF contract. But people first started to speculate this after a girl started arguing with the cameraman on Clavicular's stream, where the guy off camera roasted her for being a 28-year-old trying to promote her content by streaming with a 20-year-old.
You're 28 years old on a 20-year-old live stream trying to sell your OnlyFans subs.
And she replied by saying that she was signed to Clav.
I'm literally signed with Clav.
So you can put two and two together. And I don't know where he was at this point, but when he comes back on camera, this guy is trying to show him something. And although he's trying to keep it a secret, he's trying to figure out what someone said, and you can clearly hear him say that he's talking about the girl behind him.
But ain't this how, dang, Rice Gum was doing this same shit, putting girls on contracts and taking percentage of them and managing their content, right? That's how Rice Gum still rich as hell. I think, do Rice Gum still do that? Manage OnlyFans girls?
Who is this?
Randy?
I'm Julia. Wait, what? Bitch behind you?
And it gets really tense, like, by his face and the tone change of the guy off camera, you'd think they just accidentally committed a crime on stream. However, Varys gives a pretty crazy account from a phone call he says he received from a crying girl in Clavicular's house. And just by the way he says this,
Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'll believe him. That is the tone of someone who just says something out loud that he thought he was supposed to keep secret. But if you watch a few of this guy's streams, you'll notice that there seems to be a pretty consistent girl in the background. Like, I don't know who she is, and she usually doesn't talk, but she's always lingering around in the back. And Violet is allegedly a recruiter. And honestly, sometimes it's hard to tell if this is always the same girl, because he has so many different women rotating around him that they all kind of start looking the same. Now, Varys, who went viral for essentially making Clav look like a little boy, because, I mean, he's jacked, like he's been playing Division I football since 3rd grade, he seemed to add context to these speculations about Clavicular using the Jack Doherty contract method in a rant about how Clav tried to sign him to an extortionate contract to keep appearing on stream with him, where supposedly he was going to take 80% of the revenue and give Varys 20%. Which Varys refused because, well, he was already viral, and he could just make his own money by streaming himself, which he has, as his kick is almost at 10,000 followers. But he was so offended that dude tried to finesse him that he just completely exposed the fact that Clav is now managing these content creators. Sorry, I'm really trying not to get demonetized, but there's only so many ways I can get around saying it. But the girl that called him crying is named Scarlett, allegedly. And part of the deal she had is getting 70% of her profit taken, but all of this leads to a legal gray area that I noticed a while ago. And honestly, it's pretty strange because doing this on the street would be a felony, but in a digital space, it's technically not against the law. Because I mean, good luck trying to explain an OF contract with a kick streamer to a 70-year-old congressman. It does become illegal, however, if a girl is being held against her will, and that's kind of what got Andrew Tate and his brother in trouble because they were just fine running a webcam business, but when some girls ran to law enforcement in Romania and said they were being held against their will, that's when it became a criminal investigation. But I do have to point out that it's hard to feel sorry for some girls that signed these contracts by choice with this guy, if that is what happened. And Varys even said he asked the Scarlet girl a pretty valid question regarding the contract.
Like, I kind of told her, I was like, are you a fucking stupid bitch? Why would you ever sign that?
But I understand the trade-off, right? You just being some girl selling this type of content means nothing if no one knows you. Because if no one knows you, then who's going to subscribe to you? And if you don't have any customers, then you don't have any money. So for sure, taking advantage of being seen and doing business with a guy who has a huge, mainly male audience would of course possibly allow you to make millions of dollars. And if you just getting 30% of that revenue is worth it, then that's on you if you sign it. You can't cry now because you knew you only signed that contract because you was being a clout demon. But then again, Varys did say that some of these girls were being introduced to this type of content by the Violet girl, the one that's always in the background, that he says
that's his girlfriend Violet, if y'all know.
Acts as a recruiter. And he kind of
She let him do this, you know what I'm saying?
alluded to this Violet girl being the Jelaine in the situation.
I was just about to say this. They on some Jelaine and Epstein shit. Like, what the hell? But these ain't minors, though. These grown women, though.
Indicating that she was convincing some girls that didn't make this type of
Like, the hell you mean she the recruiter?
Content to make this type of content, which does seem kind of predatory if that's true. But it makes me wonder, does this have anything to do with this guy? Because I saw this video, and this is apparently Hai Waknin, which is very strange, a very strange individual for a clavicular to be seen with. Like, I understand that he sometimes frequents Miami, but what are the odds that I actually made a video about the Israeli Mafia where I covered his brother, who's actually a wanted man right now? And here's a quick recap from my old video about his brother, just in case you missed it. And when you hear about Israeli crime syndicates, much like the Italian mafia, all you hear about is illegal gambling schemes. But sometimes, even that can be a bit more serious. Asaf Wanin is an Israeli crime boss that, despite being deported in 2011, was also present at the illegal poker games in the Hollywood Hills with Gilbert Arenas and the Sicilian mob in 2023. And instead of just relying on people paying back their debt on time, he put together a team of Crips and members of the Mexican Mafia in LA to make sure all these celebrities and rich people didn't even consider not paying what they owed. And one day, an Israeli man who may or may not have been connected to another crime syndicate was leaving a poker game in LA when he was ambushed and killed. And this was apparently something Asaf would mention when threatening people over debt. And then houses started being set on fire in Southern California. And yeah, it starts to get out of hand because, in case you didn't notice, illegal gambling is very, very popular in Los Angeles. Really, the entire LA County and Orange County. But all of this is just a criminal complaint against Asaf since he hasn't actually been caught and he's on the run, believed to be in Mexico. But the LAPD have also tied these gambling houses to the disappearance of a woman named Heidi Plank, as Heidi was last seen at a high-rise in downtown LA that was hosting another one of these gambling houses in a unit, with her car being found.
And that's some dark, deep shit, bro. I remember watching this video. I ain't react to it, though.
A week later. But this was in 2021. As of 2025, she still hasn't been found. But of course, gambling isn't the only thing. Now, in case you couldn't tell from what I
Like gambling houses? Like what?
learned about him in that video, it would appear that Asaf was the muscle, and his job seemed to involve enforcement and making sure the money was not only being made, but also collected. But still, I consider that me learning about him and then seeing his brother with a streamer that many people feel had some type of secret backer could have still been a coincidence. And it very well could be. And yeah, I've heard the claim that the Mafia affiliate was only there to get Clav unbanned from clubs in Miami or something. And sure, Hai is very connected in Miami. But that does not make it any less sketchy. Because of course the Mafia could get you unbanned from nightclubs, but in a 2004 article from the Jewish news outlet Forward, it was reported that Hai was often seen in Las Vegas with, ladies of the night. Which is something that, in my opinion, could have led to his Las Vegas with...
Whoa. Pretty young tatoots. Well, bro,
ladies of the night, which is something that, in my opinion, could have led to his
escorts, 304s. He was seen with 304s, young 304s, escorts.
meeting with Clav, as if what this girl and Vera said is true, it would seem as if High could be helping connect Clav with some of these girls, if not the other way around. Which, either way, would be really dangerous because these guys are real traditional mafia types. Like, I say that only one brother was the muscle, but according to a Homeland Security special agent, both brothers had a violent reputation spanning over 20 years in LA. And one of them, the one who's currently on the run,
Look at this man smile. Look at this nigga mugshot, bro. You crazy.
was found guilty in the past of tapping the phone of an LAPD officer that was investigating him. But where all of this
What? He tapped the police phone? What?
connects to the streamers and OF is the fact that in illegal high-stakes poker games that Asaf would organize in the Hollywood Hills, using the houses of celebrities as his personal casino, the game was the rich people playing poker were being ripped off. But part of the distraction was the staff he hired to be at the poker parties, which included models and influencers, with some of these girls giving massages to the guys playing, all in an effort to distract them from the fact that they were being cheated. And at the end, he'd take half of all the tips from the influencers and waitresses. So this is why I believe that it was possible for these brothers to be in on the business Clav is doing with these girls. And if I'm right, that doesn't mean it's some equal partnership. And even knowing what I know, it seems like all of this could be a bit of a stretch. But I just can't think of any other reason why a middle-aged man, who the US government considers to be a dangerous mobster, will be at a party talking one-on-one with a 20-year-old streamer. And sure, getting unbanned from the club, maybe. But why off camera? Everybody knows you're banned, and Clavicular is a guy that wants everything to be content. Like, when someone suggested that he get an STD test, he said he wouldn't do it because he couldn't stream it. So why the secrecy?
What?
Also, I found a live stream of High on YouTube, and I'm unsure if this is a birthday party or something else. Any of my Jewish viewers, please help me out here. What is this? Anyway, now even before I became a YouTuber, I was highly suspicious of, well, a lot, especially when it came to entertainment. But I think people get so deep in these conspiracy theories that they forget about the fact that things like loan sharks and extortion gangs do exist. And that even though I'm insisting a connection between a streamer and an Israeli crime figure, that doesn't mean I'm insisting a connection between Clav and the government of Israel. Like, when the mob in New York or Chicago puts together home invasion squads to extort business owners, it's not to further some shadow government conspiracy, it's just to get money and make sure they never stop getting money. High, like a lot of other Mafia affiliates, knows a lot of famous people. And this could be for a couple reasons. Maybe he's just rich and they all end up in the same circles, or he's done business with them before. But one thing I'm sure of is that you should be very cautious around someone as dangerous and connected as this guy. But in the end, is Clav just doing a Jack Doherty money glitch thing, or is there something more? I don't know. But I'm sure the answer will come out one day, but as for now, as usual it seems, I'm left with more questions than answers.
Yeah, that nigga clavicular is socially awkward. He said that's why he takes so many drugs. Like, even on drugs, that man still awkward as hell. The way he talk, bro, he talk like a bot.